Okay. So I'm also going to hide myself. Yes. Okay. I think everyone can see the slides. By the way, why? Just 1 second. Um, it is better to use this mode. Okay. Okay. I will upload this lecture to Moodle so everyone can check it as an introduction lecture. So I will explain everything from the beginning. Okay. First of all, let me to talk about the lecture. This lecture is operating systems, but in this lecture, we are not going to see how we can operate an operating system or how we can use an operating system. Our aim is not that. Our aim is to show you what's going on at the background or backstage. How they can face with the problems and they can solve. How the operating systems are evolved to this day. So this kind of things we will check. In the course outline also you can check what we got. If you didn't, I put it to Moodle. So I will start from operating systems introduction. Operating system is a kind of interface between the user and the hardware. So user like us or a computer itself can be a user or a robot. And it is actually designed for to make it easier to communicate between hardware actually. So by using operating system, actually we are managing the hardware. So, and also we can say that the hardwares are actually the main parts of the computer, and they design softwares to manage the hardware. So the main software to manage the hardware is operating system. And in the operating system, if any of you install an operating system before, it is the first program that you are installing to your computer. After that, you are installing other programs. So an operating system is actually the first program that we install, and then we install the other programs on it. So the other programs that we install is called application softwares. And the system softwares, actually we can say the programs that coming with operating system, or the softwares that we are using to just manage the operating system. Okay, operating systems have several functions. 1 second, by the way. I'm looking for a kind of pointer. Okay. So operating systems have several functions. It means that several things that it is doing. One of them is process management. So we can say that it is managing the processes, which one will be picked from the hard disk and put into RAM, and then which one in the queue in the RAM will picked by the CPU. All these things are done by operating system. Also, memory management, which it is managing the main memory, which processes will be put into main memory, and how much space is left. If every memory is full, which process should be removed. All these kind of things are memory management. So it is doing this kind of things. So there are other things like file management, device management, security, job accounting, secondary storage management, networking, and coordination between other software and users, which we will see all these things in more detail in the future. Okay. So if we want to write the definition and the function of operating system, first of all, the computer system, if you hear this term, it is actually talking about the hardware and software together. And hardware is actually consists of hardware is can only understand from zeros and ones, which it is called machine code. But actually, it is not exactly like that. Computers cannot understand from zeros and ones as well, like they don't understand English or the other things. They can only understand the phases. How can I say? I mean, something like positive or negative, or something like off or on. Okay, so by this way we can communicate with the computers, but we are just using zeros and ones for ourselves actually. So at the end, yes, the machine code is when you see it, it is consists of zeros and ones, but the computer actually not taking it like that. So so one side there's a machine that understands only states or phases, two different things. So and on the other side, we are staying as human. So how we can communicate? So operating system is acting as a intermediary between computer and us, the hardware and the users. So by this way, we can manage everything, or operating system is managing for us everything. So operating system is responsible from resource allocation, CPU management, file management, and many other tasks. Responsibility and the functions are actually very close, or when you say a responsibility, it should be a kind of function to do it. And we can say the purpose of an operating system is to provide an environment in which a user can execute programs in a convenient and efficient manner. So this is the purpose of operating system. Okay, in the structure of a computer system, what was computer system? The combination of hardware and software. So all system is called computer system. In a computer system, we have users, application programs, system programs, operating system, and hardware. So all of them is make a computer system. Okay. What does an operating system do? In the beginning, some think these kind of things are repeated several times. Maybe I will eliminate them later. It is taken from a resource, but it is just repeating them several times. Okay. Operating system can make process management, process synchronization, memory management, CPU scheduling, file management, and security. The process management I explained to you, it is just managing the processes, which process will run, which process should wait, which process should be next. All these things are a part of process management. Okay, process synchronization is something like sometimes processes needs, how can I say, think about two processes, but they want to use same resource. So in this kind of situation, operating system should make a synchronization. Which one will be first? Which one will be second? Of course, in reality, it is much more complicated. By the way, let me to say this. Actually, you should ask me what is a process. Process is a kind of program in execution. When think about Microsoft Word program or Google Chrome. When you first open your computer, nothing is running except operating system. You want to browse something from internet, you click Google Chrome. While you click Google Chrome, the necessary information of one second. Necessary information of that program, which it is inside hard disk at that moment, will be loaded into RAM. So when it is loaded into RAM, that program, it is becoming a process, because process is a program in execution. So program is a kind of, how can I say, source code or data that it is in your hard disk, but when you want to run it, it is becoming a process. Okay, so actually the processes are very, very important, while because we are using for execution, for running all the system. In memory management, I also told you we have a memory, and think about that. You are a hotel receptionist. You have some rooms empty, some rooms full. You know that, I mean, in 2 days, some people will leave the hotel. In 5 days, some other will come, something like that. So you are responsible to manage all these facilities. So memory management is something like that for the operating system. But of course, it is not our time is not days, it is nanoseconds. It is very, very small time amount. And CPU scheduling also. CPU scheduling is also a function of operating system, which it is using for select the best process for the CPU. So later I will say, but the main aim of a computer system is actually to keep CPU always busy, because CPU is the most important part of a computer system. So we have to use CPU as much as we can. That's why we don't want to CPU be idle. I will tell you later when it is become idle. But that's why operating system is using some algorithms to for CPU scheduling. And file management, it is also when you remove file from move file from one place to another place, or this kind of things, is the duty of operating system as well. And the security, like very simple example, like you are entering a username to enter your operating system. It is also a feature of operating system. Okay. Okay. Do you have any question so far? Oh, we have too many students, but okay. Okay. I'll continue from generations of operating system. Actually, if this course is a kind of introduction to computers course, or if we need to explain about computer history, maybe I may start from abacus. I mean, very, very simple calculator, and it is not an electronic device. But here we start from the first generation of electronic computers because after that they need operating system. So in the first generation from 1940 to early 1950s, there was a kind of computer. They evolved a computer that it is not better than our simple calculators. But you can see how big is a first generation computer because of the technology. It is fitting a big room actually. And the first computers, first generation computers does not need an operating system. Let's check why. Because every user have full access on the operating system. So it is, how can I say, what did I say to you about the definition of operating system? Actually, we are using operating system to manage the hardware. And think about that, this can be done at that time by each user. I mean, if a user wants to do something with it, it is not going to use, they are not going to use an operating system. They are just writing its machine language. So by using zeros, ones, like this, they were writing what they want from the computer, and computer will calculate it or do it and print or show the result, whatever it is. Okay, so in the beginning, we don't have any operating system. Then in the second generation, from 1955 to 1965, the first operating system created, its name is GMOS, General Motors Operating System, and it is developed by General Motors for IBM. So in this operating system is making batch processing systems. What is batch processing? Think about that. There's an operator, but operator is a human, as you see. It is taking all the jobs, but it is batching them. I mean, it is separating according to their type. For example, let's say simple thing. We have 4 jobs, and 2 of them wants to add something, and the other 2 wants to subtract. So operator will separate the subtractions one side, the additions one side, and then it will give them to computer one by one. So operating system will only do addition or only do subtraction. And the users in this case are using punch cards to give jobs to the computer. But as you see, they are not giving it directly to the computer. There's an operator in between, a human. Okay. Then they develop new machines according to that day, of course, which were very big and used by professional operators. So in this case, this was an occupation at that time, after a while. So there are people like working as operator, and their task is to just bring computer the tasks that the other users are giving. So, and that big machines are called mainframes at that time, and still we are using this term. In the third generation, from 1965 to 1980, they realized that batching system is not so useful, because in this case you can't do I mean, how can I say, CPU is doing only one task at a time, and the other task should wait. And also because of the memory can take only one process. There is no other chance to execute more than one or more than one processes at the same time. So you may ask to me, we have one processor, each processor can execute only one process at a time. So how they can execute more than one process? Like this, think about that. I am explaining from here. Think about that. We have 3 jobs in our memory. Let's say the first one is executing by the CPU. CPU is executing the job 1. Let's say at one time that it is executing, job 1 needs some input operation. For example, user has to enter its name, his or her name or surname. And at that time, program is stopped. CPU is not doing anything because it is waiting for an user input. What will happen in this case? CPU will wait in older computer system. But in newer computer system that we are calling it multi-programming, CPU can just take it apart, this job, until it finishes that input, and it can take another job. And in this case, CPU will not be idle, okay? So think about that in the class. I said, okay, I will ask 3 questions, each of you. And I started to ask the first student. I finished the first student. Then I start the second student. In the second question, student told me I need to go to toilet. So what should I do? I have to wait until he comes back from toilet, or I can continue from the third student. So this is a kind of multi-programming. Actually, I am only one person. I can just ask one question to one student at the same time. But if someone is not available, I can continue from another student. So this is multi-programming, okay? In CPU, in RAM, in memory, they started to put more than one jobs or more than one processes. In this case, in case of any input-output operation or something like that, CPU will pick another process and continue. So this is called multi-programming. So here I can read, and this is called multi-programming operating system, this kind of operating system. Okay, lecture will finish the first part. In 10 minutes, I will open this link again, okay? So by using same link, you can enter the lecture. I will give 10 minutes break.
Okay, sir.
Okay.